Welcome to ITTV.
Click.
Old Ben Johnson running down the track. He won the race, but they took his medal back. They tested him, they said he took drugs. But now it looks like so did everyone. Ben Johnson. Remember when Ben Johnson sprinted to the moon? He was so fast, he was home by noon. Then Ben Johnson ran to the Middle East. By supper time, they declared world peace. Thank you, Ben Johnson, for all your service to the world. Thank you, Ben Johnson. You're a national treasure that we don't deserve. Now Ben Johnson just saved another life. It's what he does every day and night. Ben Johnson made me a believer, and now my favorite drink is cheetah. Thank you, Ben Johnson. Thank you, Ben Johnson. Thank you, Ben Johnson. Thank you, Ben Johnson.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us for another online program. Let me ask, if you are watching this program on Facebook, please click on the like button and also share our video if you wouldn't mind. If you're watching us on YouTube, on the other hand, please take a few minutes to subscribe to YouTube and then also ring the bell. These are new elements I've just recently learned about from social media, and they will help us to increase our viewership. So thank you very much for doing that. There is a donate button at the bottom of your screen. So thank you for watching us, and thank you for going through all of these logistical issues with the social media.
Hello friends, welcome to our YouTube channel, accidentally named Irrational Times. He's got a microphone and his very own YouTube show. Gotta send in the clowns. Those were the days. Might feel the same way that you do. Might feel the same way. That time when I beat you, saved and you did. 'Cause when we get together, I can hardly believe my eyes. Baby, baby. Around, or you're gonna get pressed by Johnny Boston. He's Greg the real mole monkey man. He's throwing poop with his monkey hands. And that man is known as Mr. Petty Paw.
Wow, it appears we really are living in irrational times.
Super cool fun trip.
And now, because you can't get enough of that sweet, sweet stuff, it's the Irrational Times live stream with your host, Irrational Times, and the lovely assistant.
Thank you so much, Dixie. We appreciate that more than you'll ever know.
Everything.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. Tonight we have a very special show tonight, something we don't do that often. We're having a guest, and a guest that I dare say, usually it's someone like Roots or someone that you guys know. I know we're a small knit crowd around here. But not tonight. Tonight, we have someone we found through mutual hate. Well, hate's a strong word, but suiting in this case. Anyways, if you guys just, I'll 2 minutes, I'll explain, and then I'll bring on the guest. You remember about 2 years ago, we were watching the trucker convoy and the protests that were going on, and there was a girl we covered named Karima, or I called her Carrie Mae just for fun. And if you'll remember, we criticized her for blatant lying that took place on the video and called her out and had some fun. And anyways, then she went, I stopped kind of watching her or whatever, and then, I just stopped paying attention to her. She wasn't around that much. And then all of a sudden she came up recently again, and it was ridiculous. She just was everywhere, and it was driving me nuts. And anyways, so I found someone who has a dislike for her almost as much as myself, I dare say. And let's see here. Beauty. So why don't we just... Oh, I think a cat's going to jump up on me. Why don't we welcome Mr. Ocean... oh, my God. Ocean Cowboy. Hello, how's it going?
It's going good. How's it going with you guys? Or
Nah.
you
Very
both?
well, thank
Yes,
you.
indeed. The lovely assistant here. Indeed, always helping
Nice
out.
to meet you.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, guys. This is going to be... A lot of my audience is American. So this is going to be the most Canadian thing you guys have ever seen, probably, between myself and our friend here. So don't, because we're both from Nova Scotia. Don't be alarmed. So, anyways, they do enjoy getting some Canadian news from here.
Okay.
So now that I've refreshed slightly everyone's mind, if they did remember, because I covered Carrie Mae on this show like 2 years ago, just randomly. It's not like it was just kind of a couple of times we watched some videos. Because I don't know if you remember, but she brought this. There was a protest in Queen's Park, and she brought a bodyguard with her that had no shirt on and a staff.
I don't think I caught that one.
I had a feeling this might happen because I wanted to compare notes. I figured there's some things that you could tell me that I had never heard of, and maybe vice versa. But that was the first time I was introduced to her, when she had this guy that was clearly a provocateur, and he was yelling at the top of his lungs with no shirt on and some kind of stick, and her bodyguard. So that was wild. And how about yourself?
That's wild.
When was the first time you became aware of Karima? Sorry.
Well, during the convoy, I think, like everyone else, I was watching the convoy from live streams from the convoyers themselves, because they were literally on the front lines 24/7. And I know I did watch some of her coverage, and what she did was good. She was there as off as she could be. But I found just watching the actual convoy live streams gave me a better idea of what was going on, what their plans were, things like that. I wasn't interested so much in an analyzation of what's going on. I had my own going on with that. So that's where I kind of first picked up on her. But I guess I don't remember what our first big interaction was, but I do have some DMs where I had clearly accused her of something and made a mistake, and I had apologized to her. And this is the craziest thing. She actually apologized to me at the time.
No.
Yes, I have the DMs. I have the receipts. She apologized to me for her behavior in private.
Wow.
And then things kind of got quiet again until I'd recorded that Jeremy McKenzie after party live stream where he had made the joke about what he wanted to do to Anna Poiliev. He wanted to, and so following that, blowing up, Karima had a cartoon done up of two dogs doing that to Anna Polyev. And to me, bringing the supposed joke to life, to reality, by creating an image of it, it was worse than the joke itself. And to me, it was. I mean, we all know how bad the joke is. We don't need a visual of it. And so I felt it was wrong, and I called her out on it. And since then, I've been blocked, and it's been an onslaught of harassment. And I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm not completely innocent here. You know, I've thrown my underhanded shots at some of them back and forth. I mean, eventually it gets to that way, but I mean, lately I just started to realize this is pointless. So I try to ignore them, even though they continue to talk, and just focus on bringing attention to the negative things that Karima is doing that put people in jeopardy and endanger people.
Yeah, and that was one of, well, I guess that's a little ironic, because one of my annoyance problems with Karima was that she would always say that just by criticizing her, you were putting her life in danger. Just, you know, it was ridiculous to me because what you said about getting more out of other Convoy streams, that's 100% true, because her streams were always right up too close to her face. She never got anything more than a foot around her, and it was always up close, and that way to me it made it a lot easier to, well, I don't know about the Convoy, yes, but at the Queen's Park thing, she just bumped into somebody with a sign and said they assaulted her, and it was all on video, and it was ridiculous. So the Convoy, when you have your camera so close, it's easy to claim someone assaulted you or to get away with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you can't really see what happens because you're pushing up against somebody and the camera's right there. But
there's been a few incidents like that where they've claimed assault when none happened. There was one time Lee, or we might know him as Howard or Lee, that's their cameraman. His real name is apparently Tristan. Tried to say someone assaulted him, and he fell over and literally like a turtle on his back, screaming and yelling, but like nobody touched him. It was the fakest thing ever. And, you know, there was another time where they claimed that someone was trying to attack her cameraman again, and she literally put herself in the way and used her body to thrust into the person. And you know, like, you literally just assaulted someone on camera. You threw your body, you used it as a weapon to stop this man. And if she had just stood there, it would have been one thing, but it was to actually use her entire body to throw in him like a hip check to stop him from keeping going. And you know,
yeah, and then it becomes like when you see a pattern of these things happening, that's when you're just like, okay, well, because when I started criticizing her and got blocked during that, I started noticing that there was even like people from like a year or two before this, and this was, I found her like say 2 years ago or whatever, and then before this, there's people that had problems with her before that.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is and now what's gotten to me was how she's so blatantly, I think I said this in the one little message we had, it's so blatantly playing both sides publicly and has done it. Now she's like, I'm just amazed at how, look, I don't want to like, you know, ruin the facade, before, you know, it's the part of this was the irony to me that we can both really find dislike, really find disdain for somebody for very different reasons. Because I listened to a lot of, I couldn't listen to, I don't have all the time in the world. I listened to the first two parts of your breakdown of Karen. I think, how many do you have, 4 or 5?
There's 4 parts.
Yeah.
They're anywhere from like half an hour to an hour long, and then there's just 2 other pieces on the Hategate manifesto she put out.
So that was my my ironic take was that, like, wow, it's like we both have disdain for someone, but like we for very different reasons and come from very different, you know, views at it, and it's anyway. So now the most recent thing is that she, for the convoy, she was trying to make the truckers kind of look bad. Like that was, she was not with the truckers during the convoy, right? Like this was yeah. So now she has basically somehow been adopted by them because of this Hategate thing, you know? Because now, if you're looking at it from a conservative point of view, what Karima uncovered is what a lot of people assumed. Now,
Yeah.
And so that was to me. I'm just like, okay, so like, thank you, but like we kind of assumed that. I mean, that the government was working with the media in different ways and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's not a big surprise if you've followed politics for the last 2, 3, 5, whatever, go back. Some of us are older than others, but
That's just true.
But, that was one thing for me, it was that just to see the dichotomy of people that lined up but now she's kind of going on all these prominent Canadian streams, and it's like they don't have a memory or selective. I don't know what, but like just because she helped uncover some information that everyone should have already known or been aware of, or at least assumed. Now they're like kind of with open arms. Like I'm just like I want to make a PSA. It's like please just stop streaming with her. Like she's everybody because she's just gonna bite you in the ass, whoever you are.
Yeah, and you notice they're all right-wing streamers or conservatives. I haven't seen her on any progressive, left-leaning.
Well, not anymore. But I mean, that's all she used to be was on Dean Blundell and other shows. Like she would never would have went on conservative shows 5 months ago. She was on Dean Blundell every other day. Like she's not like she was hiding out. She would. It was just such a shift,
Yeah, it is, and I think that it. You see, it looks like an abrupt shift, but if you go back and you look, you can see that it was something that was there and underlying, and it was slowly coming to the surface. And I think Hategate really pushed that forward because it didn't get the reaction that she was looking for.
You don't think?
No. She wanted this to be bigger than it is. Like you said, the conservatives are loving it. And they're all like, hey, you're my new best friend because it validates so much of what they said. And her intent with the manifesto wasn't about the RCMP and it wasn't about the government. It wasn't about the media. It was written to attack CAN. And
because she had dealings with them in the past.
Right. And so she's got lawsuits. Once she lost, Eliza Hannigan had lawsuits. She lost. And then Jeremy McKenzie obviously has been under the radar of the Anti-Hate Network for some time. But all she really proved was that the RCMP failed at their job. It wasn't CAN that went in there and said, this is the truth, this is reality. CAN wrote an article, and the RCMP read that and didn't do any backup information. And it's great that she brought this to our attention. But this whole incident of involving CAN in this decision-making process is just her trying to make it a boogeyman, like there's some sort of evil web of conspiracy that has their hands in every section of government. They're just like 5 people that write articles on the internet, and they criticized her for her Chris Sky incident, and she's had a vendetta since.
Well, that was the first time. That was the first time I got involved with her. She called me like a Chris Sky sympathizer, and the first time I ever heard of Chris Sky was from her.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I had seen him, but he wasn't exactly my flavor of gentleman. I mean, he was like a knucklehead, Because the truth be told, I mean, I was, am on the side of that kind of movement of far as when the mask mandates came around in the government. Like I've always been a conspiracy theorist, you would say, but it started with like electric cars and George Bush and all that stuff back in the 2007 or 8 or 9 or something like that, and it was always from a left-wing point of view. So I have a conspiratorial background in my head, and so when you see patterns emerge that you've seen over time, you kind of you're hesitant to label it right or left wing. It's just the government does have the media and the government are lockstep all the time. So once you start noticing that, you can't stop noticing, and that's some people's problems. It's just noticing too much. But
I agree with you. The media, especially in Canada, is very lockstep with the Liberal government, and that again is something that is pointed out in her manifesto. I mean, those 2 points: the failure of the RCMP to do any investigative work whatsoever, and the failure. It's just that's all her manifesto points out. It didn't point out any nefarious conspiracies by the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. It showed the shortcomings of the RCMP, and it showed the shortcomings of our media.
And the irony being is that the people that have adopted her now, they didn't need that manifesto. I mean, like, again, I mean, if you've believed that if you believe what is in that manifesto, you should have already been aware that that's kind of what's been going on. If you haven't noticed how the news is cycling the
Yeah.
same thing over and over again. Anyways, and now I'm fascinated as well now that the people that she did Hategate with is have fallen out already.
Yeah, Elisa Hannigan is no longer going to be appearing on anything with Karima to do with promoting Hategate or talking about it. She's blocked by Karima, as far as I know, still Twitter, email, cell phone numbers.
Could you explain a little bit who Elisa is, Elisa Haken, just a little bit?
Okay,
I
so
have no
Elisa,
idea.
okay, Elisa Hannigan is a former neo-Nazi. She was part of a neo-Nazi group
I mean,
in the early 1990s.
I mean, sorry, I do, when I hear the word Nazi, all I think about is like it's like hippies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the only hippies now are in senior citizen homes, right? And the only Nazis now are, well, I mean, I used to say somewhere else, but apparently now in the House of Commons, apparently the last
right,
guy
yeah.
alive. So anyways, I mean, whatever. I mean, though that word is kind of played out around here, I mean, as far as claiming. It's the same as anyone would say about, I don't know, whatever.
Definitely white supremacist, if that's a little bit easier to use as a label. They were called the Heritage Front. And basically what happened was Elisa was recruited as a teenager. Then she decided it wasn't for her. And then she went undercover. And I mean, this is a very brief review, but she went undercover and she helped provide testimony that helped bring the entire organization down. So no more Heritage Front, no more neo-Nazi group. And
so do you think these people, much like same thing with Karima. I call her Karima just because I hope it bugs her, just because it's it's just a little disrespectful. It's sometimes I have a hard time being disrespectful. That's my little schneid way of whatever. But do you think that these people, like Karima or Elisa, do you think that she was like always like? Do you think she went undercover? I mean, there's two ways to look at this. Either they're going undercover, I guess, fine.
Yeah.
Or, they've always they've felt one way, basically. Or we're seeing with Karima, like, if you would have caught me on live streams in 2009 or 10, my mind was like learning things and going through these revelations. And if I would have been streaming every night, I probably would have sounded like a moron regurgitating things I just heard. So that's kind of, you don't want to be in that position. And that's what I feel like she's kind of going through right now. It's like, well, she's just learning all these new things, and that's one way of looking at it. And she's just snapping in front of us and just kind of like, whatever. Or she's just a dirty liar. And she's a lawyer, so I tend to believe the latter.
There's plenty of examples of hypocrisy or misleading or blatant lies that have been other people have posted receipts for. I have, and like I said, Elisa, you can actually look her up online. You're going to find lots of hits on her. There was a CBC movie that was made. There was some legal battles about whether it was made about her. And anyways, that's how it was her claim that she was solely responsible for bringing down this Heritage Front.
Well, this is why I asked.
Had a similar story, and then there was lawsuits and some of those people were involved with Ken, and so there's her beef with Ken, and then Karima's got Sky, but I think the biggest thing for the right, like the conservatives that are like, oh hey, yay Karima now, is because she whitewashed Jeremy McKenzie. Well, as far as I can see, she ignored or passed off everything he said and does as joking or dark humor as a comedian, and sometimes it is.
I make novelty comedy songs, so I am very freedom of speech guy. So if whatever, there is that. I mean, look, are rape jokes distasteful? Yeah, of course they are, but can they be funny sometimes? Yes.
I've only heard one. Picture Porky Pig, Big Elmer Fudd.
It's funny.
You can thank George Carlin for that.
Yeah.
But but he does go. He had I spent probably a year and a half, 2 years watching or monitoring Jeremy McKenzie, his live streams, his telegrams, everything, and not everything is a joke. And he has caused real life danger to real people who have gotten death threats as a result of him. See, that's the thing with Jeremy is that he isn't going to tell people to do something, or he's not going to do something himself. He's just going to encourage others to do it for him, and they listen.
Well, see, this is that's a very gray area when you get into all
Yeah.
kind. I mean, some of the podcasts I've watched over the years. I mean, it's more of American stuff, but like when you get into that kind of mentality of like prescribing people that just watch or follow someone. The truth be told is I know who he is,
Yeah.
and I've really never followed him. I do enjoy. There was a couple Canadian people I used to watch quite a bit. Press for Truth. I used to like him and Lee Stewie. Those guys. They're out in BC, so they're kind of across the country. It's not really close by, but and that was a while ago. You go through phases. I watched The Convoy and I enjoyed it, but I don't. You know what I mean? Like I just can't. If you focus too much, and look, I'm not saying this about you, anyone.
No, that's
if you
fine.
focus too much on one thing for too long, you kind of lose your mind. Like that's why I like to switch things up and different topics and talk about different things all the time. Because if
No,
you,
I agree with that. It does weigh on you on your mental health after a while, and I sort of started to deal with that by not addressing every comment made about me from everyone, right, and not spending so much time on my phone so that I don't keep diving into that. It gives me a better break. It keeps me a little bit further away from always focusing on just someone and what they're doing. Like, because it does get out of control sometimes. I mean, you can go on my Twitter and see 12 posts about one person, and then there's a post about something random. So yeah, it can be a problem. It definitely does, and you need to take breaks from doing stuff like that, because then you also get the horse blinders, and you act. You know what I mean? You're not really seeing everything all the time.
Oh, I know, but then you start to, after you get into these people, then you start to miss them after a while. There was a guy I used to mess with named Just Francis. He was a pickup artist, and he used to do the pickup thing, but he used to secretly film the girls. He'd have the phone in his pocket.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he'd do it. So one night he was talking to some girl and tried to ask her out or whatever, and blah blah blah. So she gave him her number. So I called her and told her that he was secretly filming or whatever, and so she called him on it, and it was very funny. And I've done that to him a couple times, but now he's not on the internet anymore. I've bullied him off the internet, and now I kind of miss him now. Yeah. I mean, it was something to do.
Yeah, once in a while I'll unblock an account or two and just start interacting for shits and giggles, because it's fun.
I wish I could unblock him. I literally made him stop filming women without their consent. It's a win, but
yeah, it is
also
a big win.
It's like when I was just joking with the lovely assistant today, that when I thought you said Karima's account was reported, and I thought it was like locked so no one could see it, and I was kind of sad because I was like, well, you know what? I was going to make a PSA about her, and I was going to get some footage from her Twitter, but now I can't. But it's fine. You can still scroll around.
Yeah, no, it was temporary lock for some tweets that she just had to delete them and her account would be reactivated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens a lot. It's pretty hard to get anyone suspended on Twitter anymore.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I never have a problem because I can kind of I can always kind of get that line, skirt that line.
Yeah.
Once I called.
Oh, no,
I called a lady stupid once when I was watching a lady stream and someone sent a pizza to her house and she got very angry and started yelling at the chat and said it wasn't funny, and I said it was funny, and then she blamed me, and actually it was a whole other thing, because we got into a big internet brawl over a couple of weeks or whatever. It was kind of fun. But I called her a crazy lady because she thought she was going to call the FBI on me for ordering a pizza.
Oh my!
And this is down in the States somewhere. I had no idea where she lived, what state she even lived. I had no idea. But I think I got a week's suspension the only time because I called her crazy or stupid. One of those two.
I think I got a 3-day once, but I don't even remember what it was for now, to be honest. It's been a while, although I get told all the time that I'm going to get my tweets recorded and my account shut down. It hasn't happened yet, so I try not to be a dick, like a real personal attack. Yeah, a real dick. I try to stay away from the personal attacks and just kind of point out behavior rather than you know, somebody's what they look like or anything like that. I mean,
Well, this is what they say
I've
when
done it and it was wrong, right? Like, if you really want to be taken seriously, attacking people that way just isn't the way to do it.
Amen, sir. That's right. Because they say if you start to go to ad hominems and personal attacks, then you've lost the argument already.
Yes, exactly.
So they say. I don't know.
Well,
They say a lot of things.
yeah, they do. They certainly do, and it doesn't feel like the other person feels that way, that they're losing at all.
No, and this was part of why I wanted to have you on tonight, because it wasn't just to bitch about Karima, as much as that was fun for me, because I find it frustrating lately that she's back in the news so hard and heavy, as far as I'm concerned. But I also wanted to just show people, if I could, in my own little way, that people that are probably as far across. Like I say, I've watched a couple of hours of your stream and analysis, and I feel like I've got enough of idea of where you're coming from in the big picture to know that I'm pretty much on the opposite spectrum of that. Like, I'm way over here, and but I wanted to have you on and bitch about Karima just to show that people can. We're building Canadian bridges. Just that you can come together and talk about something like that and understand that she's a provocateur and working both sides, grifting, whatever the fuck. She's a lawyer. It's not that hard to believe. But anyways, that was part of my covert mission tonight, was just to have someone on that I knew that was so far away from me ideologically, but we could find common ground
Somewhere. And that's a start.
Well, exactly, right. It's, not like we're going to go out and protest against mask mandates together anytime soon. But
Probably not, but that's all right.
But then again, I never did anyway.
No, I mean...
I just quit my job and took my kid out of school.
Hey, there you go.
But I didn't go on Facebook and talk about it once. Because when you go on Facebook and start talking about politics, you're a dum-dum. Sorry, I don't mean to, again, not against you. Whenever I see anybody of my friends talking on Facebook about politics, I'm like, why are you a dum-dum? Stop that.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know why I ever argue about politics. Politics is... Politics and religion, there's no there's always going to be so much polarization.
Super cool,
But
fun
I mean, I can't help but dip my toes in it once in a while and enjoy the fray, and
Sorry, it looks
The
like
Killing
someone
Joke
just
donated
donated
$10. Money and Joy
Cool.
Sticky and
Good for you.
TLA.
And you know what? And just to show, you and I are on opposite ends of the spectrum, and I do tend to pick on people from the further end of the right-hand spectrum, but when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll give you a perfect example of that today. Today I made a mistake and saw it was an imitation account parading around as a parody account of Karima. And they were tweeting in a tweet where it was Karima, someone else, and then this parody account. And I mixed it up, made a big deal out of it. Oh, I caught her in a lie. And then I realized afterwards that, oh, fuck, that's not the right part of my language. But like, this isn't her. So what do I got to do? Well, I can be a dick and say nothing, or I take down my tweets and I put up the information that I was wrong. And I apologize for being wrong. It was a mistake, and I don't want anyone else to be misinformed that this is not true. So
I saw that parody account, and I'll just say this. It's identical looking as much as you can. So, I mean...
Yeah. And like I said, the reason I figured it out was because one of her more fervent followers had also fallen for it by seeing my tweet, sharing it. So I shared misinformation, and I don't like doing that. So when I figure that stuff out, I take it down and I put up an apology, let people know right away. Because if I'm trying to change their minds, lying to people, lying about people isn't going to do it.
I write original music, so I feel like I like to be more original. I don't like to retweet other people's misinformation. I like to make up my own.
Well, I guess that's what I did unintentionally today. But, mistakes happen. It just reminds me to be more observant and take a little bit more time to see what I'm reading rather than just click and post.
Well, it's Twitter, so no one's expecting no one's expecting that of you.
Well, sometimes I get an itchy trigger finger,
Uh-oh, look out.
Oh, God. That's going to get misinterpreted.
You like your gun rights? Yeah, good, good, good.
I don't own any, but hey, whatever. It doesn't bother me if you want to own guns. As long as you're safe with them and keep them away from kids. I'm
There you
good,
go.
man.
Yep, good guys.
Responsible gun. I have no problem with the responsible gun owners.
See
Never
that?
have.
Isn't that a reasonable take there? What a reasonable take. I feel the same
Oh,
way. Not that I ever want to own a gun myself, but like,
well,
you know.
no, I I live in a community where hunting's a huge thing. Like guys got deer camps set up for hundreds of kilometers, and so they're not. These people aren't endangering anybody, and they're responsible and they're lawful, and I have no problem. Go ahead, man. Have your guns.
By the way, just before I move on, I wanted to thank the Killing Joke for that $10 very much, and everyone in the chat is ignoring us, and they're just simping for the lovely assistant here. They're just I look at the chat occasionally, and just in case there's any questions or anything or blah blah blah, or anyone wants to make fun of me or you. No, it's all just they're just simping.
Well,
I'm
that's
so sorry.
Oh, it's all. What am I gonna do? Complain? Make them stop? Ban them?
I don't know. I think that's pretty good that, there's no one attacking you or me. I mean, a lot of the times when you have these opposites meeting, you have one side or the other's lackeys going in the comments. So, hey, that's a positive and encouraging sign.
No, it's what it should be. It's just guys that are just caring about a girl. They're just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, look at she's a pretty girl, apparently.
It's a girl sim for me. A Jewess.
Nice. Okay. But yeah, so that's I like that though. I like the gun rights stuff because there's so many issues. Like everything does seem so polarized, but when you start to talk like this, it's not as polarized as you might think. Because I don't.
No, I mean, I don't like the idea of assault weapons in the hands of the public. They're made for war, but like hunting and shotguns, things like that you are practical. I just can't see a practical use for an automatic rifle, but.
So
that's me, and I don't have an experience with guns. So maybe somewhere along the way I can have a conversation where someone might give me a good reason why you'd want to own one of these. If you're in Texas, I understand. They got wild boars. You do need AR-15s for the wild boars.
Yeah. So here's like a thing about that, I guess, is that, like, I don't know about you, but I enjoy Law and Order, but I'm not so fond of cops.
No.
I mean, I don't know.
I think we're there. We're both on the same page there.
But I do enjoy Law and Order in that regard. It's like when you say legal gun owners, and like I don't speed. To be honest, not that I think that's in the same category.
Yeah, no.
But like I do follow the rules and whatnot. But also, yeah, where I don't really like cops in my limited interactions with them, personally, they seem kind of like dicks, and so. I guess the problem is, like, to say that, like, the only people who should have guns like that are the authorities kind of worries me, like, but...
maybe that came out now, like...
No, I mean, it's a common thing.
Like, I don't think cops need them, too. Oh, definitely not. I don't think cops need assault rifles. I don't think they need tanks. Like, this is insane. They're police officers.
All the tactical gear.
You're not supposed to be afraid when you see a police officer. And that's all we all are. When you're driving and you see a cop behind you, your first instinct is, am I speeding? And it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be afraid of the people who are there to serve and protect. And the reason you're afraid is because they're not.
I feel like that started with when they moved cops away. You could never be a cop in your hometown.
Yeah.
That was, I know what it was meant to do.
Absolutely.
But it's a problem. You got people from. It's so easy when the cop pulls you over and you're just like, "Where are you from? Like, where the fuck?" Like, I've lived here all my life. What do you? But it shouldn't be like that either. But when people live there, like a good example, there's a guy that I won't even use any names because people know him on this channel. There's someone in our town who is well known. He's very loud, and I did him a favor, went and picked him up something at the liquor store, not booze, some box or whatever, and I told the guy at the liquor store who I was picking it up for, and he got very mad, and he said, oh, that guy's so loud and obnoxious and blah, 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 and I literally said to him, it's like, are you from here? It's like, this guy owned a store for 40 years, and yeah, he's weird, but he's like a local legend. Everyone loves him around here, or whatever, or tolerates him. And it turned out, no, he's just from Ontario, and he had no idea. Yep. And this is just a guy, but I'm saying, like, that's a small little thing. But, I mean, if you're not from here and you don't know some of the local people or just
Characters.
eccentrics,
Yes.
it's gonna make your life a little bit harder enforcing, like when you, I don't know.
No, I agree with you. Absolutely. I mean, it, it it has its negatives, but like you said, like you know why they do it is they're afraid they're going to let friends and family get away with, whatever. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's an excellent point. If you have police that are familiar with the people in their communities because they're from the same communities, there's going to be a better rapport. There's going to be more respect and a better likelihood of actually being able to resolve crimes without charging people and ruining their lives.
Hmm. Yeah, and
I mean, they have discretion.
and I mean, not to it's not too much of a diversion, but I have that's my big problem with the schools these days. It's that before, if there's a fight at the school or argument, they get the police involved before you're not allowed to know who the other parents are or the other kid is if two kids get into a fight at the school.
Yeah.
They go to the police first before they let the parents resolve it themselves with the kids. Like, it's ridiculous.
I think that's overcompensating by schools with a lot of the bad things that have happened in school in the last few years, and I think that's just them trying to cover their own butts more than anything. But they should be contacting parents. Like, I mean, when kids got in fights when we were in high school, your parents got called to the office. You know what I mean? Sometimes both parents and both kids were down at the office at the same time, and it got taken care of, and it usually did.
Yeah, exactly, because the parents were always usually pissed.
Yeah, exactly.
It was rarely personal between the parents,
Yeah, exactly.
especially when you're in a smaller town, I guess. But
Yeah.
like we're both kind of in. But it's and it's for younger ages too. I'm not talking about high school. I'm talking about elementary school. Like, this is the crazy thing to me. But anyways, so I don't like that. But I have a guy in school right now, so in elementary school. So now I'm seeing all the stuff being out of the school system for a couple years.
Yeah.
We won't need to- no,
I
yeah,
got
but-
my daughter's in her second grade right now as well, so and I got two more coming up.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good crew.
Yeah. Nice little crew. Not quite a baseball team, but
Wow.
maybe a curling team.
I was just telling our little guy he should think about curling today.
Oh,
Or
it's a
yesterday.
great sport. It doesn't look like it's fun, but I'm telling you, I played it once my entire life, and I've still never forgotten how much fun it was.
Well, he's not really the football hockey type of guy, so he was more open to that than say hockey.
Yeah.
He wants nothing to do with the ice, but anyways, that's,
Okay.
that's the way she goes. Beautiful. So what's next here for Carrie Mae? Is she still, like, she's just spinning her wheels now? Like, she's been, I don't know if I haven't seen the last couple of days if she's still going on doing the circuit of conservative
Yeah,
shows,
she
but
was just on in a podcast in India last night,
excuse
pushing
me?
her. Yeah, exactly right. She was on an Indian podcast, India's most tuned in podcast. It's
Aren't we
on
at war with India?
we're on the precipice. Things are not good between us. But yeah, so
Well, I
she
mean,
was-
you heard where the draft has started, right? I mean, we're being drafted to go to India soon for war, aren't we? I'm obviously joking,
But no, yeah. So it's in India. So she was on here talking about Hategate and how terrible the government is and how stupid the RCMP are, and you know what I mean, pushing her Hategate are. It just seems like maybe now wasn't the best time to maybe go on an India podcast and start berating everybody in the government.
But no, I mean, obviously now anti-Canadian sentiment is at a all-time high in India,
God.
so this is like the time to do that, and that's
absolutely.
fun. Now, look, if you want to keep all of our, I don't like that. I like it when we keep our little stuff in Canada. We can have our little blah 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 fights and arguments, but like, don't go over to India and start talking shit about Canada. Keep it in Canada.
Yeah. She's done Diva Frey, and I guess he's technically Canadian, but he lives in Florida now.
Well, that's Viva. I not that I ever listened to him that much. I did enjoy him. I did a theme song for him, trying to just like because I had a piece of music that sounded French or whatever, and I made it for him. Whatever. Point being is, I was very unimpressed when he moved down to the States. It was at the height of when he was talking about freedom and everything like that. And to me, see here, and I don't know if this would be controversial to you, but like with modern day immigration, I would always say that you know, if these people are coming from, say, some kind of, there's problems in their country, if there was problems in my local area, I'm going nowhere. I'm staying and I'm trying to help and fight in any capacity. You okay over there? Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I can get you some water. But yeah, I would stay here, hell or high water, and do whatever I could to help. I'm not going anywhere to run. Whether that, and I know that might be, and I know that's an extreme thing to say, but it's
I'm
like
not going to judge you on it. I mean, that's
obviously in your mind if you're like the bombs are dropping and it's like, you know, there's things going on.
Yeah.
That said, I know it doesn't feel like that could ever happen here. You know,
oh,
we
I
feel
think it
like,
could.
well, I mean, and a lot
I
of people
feel
do.
like I don't like to exaggerate, but it definitely feels like we're in North America. Things are coming to a catalyst here soon, and it's just going to take a spark. What will that be? I don't know.
And international things are going on all the time.
Yeah,
Over all nothing but like talk about Russia and Ukraine and
yeah,
whatever.
like
you
I
know.
mean, we're definitely living through a tumultuous time in history, and a lot of this is going to be like they're already learning about January 6th in school, and 9/11 is actually being taught to children who weren't even born when it happened. So they're learning about 9/11 for the first time at school. So I mean, we're living through history, and it just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse.
Which part of the course? I'd like to know. Which part of the course, I wonder, do they teach about Lucky Larry, the guy that owned the buildings and said to pull it?
Yeah, right.
Lucky Larry Silverstein. Do you remember the insurance fraud there? I mean,
Yep.
he tried to get twice as the billions. It was like he tried to get like 4 billion and they only gave him 2 or something like that.
Yeah, because it was 2 planes. Yeah, I remember that was a load of crap.
Exactly, right? So I wonder when they're
Yep.
teaching that.
Yeah, right.
I would like to. Oh, I wonder if we could get some interesting people to come up with the course, Doctor, for 9/11. A whole thing on buildings 6 and 7, and there we go.
Yeah.
Jeez. Anyways, as long as we don't have any parts of the course where there's like no planes, I hate that one.
Oh my
I
God.
hate the no planes thing.
Oh,
You know, there can be
Wow.
bombs and planes together. You know,
there
there can be bombs in the plane. There can be bombs anywhere.
bombs in the plane.
Who knows?
Who
But,
knows?
oh wait, no, someone in the chat is saying no. He got 7 billion. Oh fuck.
Oh, yeah. If I remember correctly, it was the summer prior, like August, just before 9/11, where his insurance policy got rewritten for that.
100%. Yep. I was very close to, very close to the event.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was watching like documentaries about that, like when they came out, like Loose Change or whatever, different ones
Yeah.
like that, when they came out back in 2008 or 9, that kind of really shaped my way of thinking. I think for better or worse, I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah. Same with it was all with like An Inconvenient Truth. We went and saw that in the movie theater in 2004, and we were all gung ho for that. And then it feels like that kind of went all to shit, like the timeline and nothing. I don't know, but. Anyways, whatever. Now I'm rambling. Now I'm just remembering things I've seen in the movie theater.
It happens.
Anywho. So, you're a fisherman, are you? I hear.
Yeah, lobster fisherman.
Nice. How was your season?
This past season was all right. Not sure how this season's going to turn out. We got some warm weather for the fall down here. So warm water, they don't really move around a lot. They like the actual little bit colder water. So we'll see how it goes. Doesn't start till the end of November. Our season down here starts the last Tuesday of November, which is just a random time to start. Like, okay, so yeah, and it runs straight through to May 31st. So we spent 6 months going in and out.
It's hard work, man. I don't know
Oh, I
personally.
love it.
I played in bands with guys that were lobster fishermen, and one of the guys I played with was very boisterous, and he looked a little bit like you actually, but he was very up and go. And then when I'd see him around fishing season, he was like a shell of himself. He was just like he could barely I'd call him and he'd be like, "Oh man, I'm just."
Yeah, especially that first month. Like the first day we drop them and then we start hauling and we haul for 12, 14 hours straight, like nonstop. Keep going. Sometimes it'll go longer. It depends on how the catch is going or something like that. But it's usually about 8 hours to haul all the gear on a good fast day, and we'll do that back to back for the first couple of days. So
I was
it
over
can
in
be tiring.
I was over in Newfoundland recently, and we saw the rare blue lobster.
Oh yeah, yes. I
Mm.
actually we caught one in a pot the very first year I was fishing.
No way.
Yeah,
Cool.
I got pictures of it somewhere. But yeah, no, they pop up every now and again.
Hmm.
But it's really cool to see them because they're just like, what is this? This isn't a lobster. This is the wrong color.
So how are they treated in the lobster community? Are they kind of in exile? Are the red lobsters kind of bigots?
Well, probably the reason you don't see the blue ones is because nobody wants to sleep with them and reproduce, right?
Damn.
And yeah, everyone's all those lobsters be bigoted against the blue ones.
They're the albinos of the
That's pretty much what it is. That you know what I mean? Like that's why they're at a evolutionary disadvantage.
Nice. Yeah, I guess they're a meme too, the blue lobster. So when he saw it, he couldn't believe it. He was like, "Wow, really are real."
Yeah, well, there's another guy I know. He's been fishing for over 20 years and he's never caught one.
Hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like it is weird. And I mean, sometimes you'll pull up a lobster and it's right down the middle, black on one side, orange on the other side.
No
Like
way.
it's yeah, oh yeah. You'll pull up spotted lobsters that look like leopards. Like
Hmm.
they come in all kinds of weird colors sometimes.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Uh, nice. Hey, look. Well, thanks for. I don't know. We're probably gonna wrap it up here soon.
Yeah.
You know. But why not? I think it was a great little chat. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you coming on to talk. This is actually the first time I've been on a live stream to chat.
That's interesting, since it looks
Yeah.
like you kind of have. I saw, you put out some long
Yeah.
videos, so I kind of just assumed that you were kind of that's what you kind of did.
Nope,
you know.
no. I record, edit, and just slap them together and then upload them. I don't know if I can talk for an hour or 2 hours at a time and be that interesting. So I just and I like to bounce around with like different types of videos too. Like a lot of it took up a while to do the Karima videos because there was so much information.
Mm.
But I like to throw in other different types of things. Like I'm really big on stupid trivia and facts, and sharing
really?
crazy information. Like, did you know that you are older than your teeth?
What, are
Your
teeth the first thing to develop in the womb?
your baby teeth are, but your adult teeth don't start to form until after you're born.
Oh, fair enough.
So once you lose your baby teeth, you're now older than the rest of your teeth in your mouth.
Very true. It's one of those
Super
kind of
random.
it's like a little brain teaser that it's
Yeah.
kind of you feel stupid after it's explained. You're just like, oh yeah, duh. I love it.
Yeah, well, we all go through that. I went through it.
But I'll tell you this: if you do enjoy the goofy questions and answers, we do trivia games on here
Awesome.
a couple times a month anyway. Where I do, don't be jealous. I'm in possession of a podium, and I stand behind the podium.
Fancy.
And yeah, so you're in the presence of a man that owns a podium.
That's all right. I would own a podium if I could. I pick up all kinds of random stuff.
Yes, exactly. I
You
don't
never
know.
know. You never know when you're going to need a podium.
I enjoy, flea markets and kind of like junk store
Oh.
hunting too. I rarely come across podiums out there.
No. I also like the spring and fall cleanups around here because other people's junk, other
Oh,
people's
yeah.
treasure, like they just take everything, throw it outside, and found
Yeah.
brand new bicycles, electronics, things like that. Like I don't know why people throw some of the stuff out they do.
Yeah, and nowadays they go through phases. Like back in the '80s, everyone was throwing out their podiums. That's why you can't find any now.
Oh yeah. I think the coolest thing I found was a globe, and it came in a stand. So that was
Oh, with the stand,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. It had a stand and globe, and I think it's like 1979 globe or something like
Nice.
that.
We found an old typewriter.
Oh, nice.
It was just up the street from us, out in the middle of nowhere, and it was from some old lady. And I actually ended up taking it to some of our shows and putting glasses on it, and we called him Typo. Yeah, he was cool. But anyways, he was very heavy because he was obviously very old.
yeah,
But,
yeah. I got one of those kicking around somewhere too. Just
yeah.
I don't think
Indeed.
you can buy ink or stuff for them anymore around where I'm at. Maybe online somewhere, some random website.
Oh, you can, yeah, random websites. Yeah, I have a bunch of old record players and cassette players that
Oh, nice.
I've been meaning to try to look online to find bands, rubber
Yeah.
belts.
Okay.
For all
Yeah.
that. But anyways, you can find them, but it's just a matter
Yeah.
of getting the time to fix them. And I took them apart
Oh, yeah.
once, but I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah. My record player from the 70s just finally died not long ago.
it's very sad. I'm sorry to hear
It
that.
is very sad. It was
Yeah.
a good. It went through some times, but it's good piece of electronics.
Super
Panasonic.
cool fun trip.
Oh, 1 second. It looks like we're getting one more donation in here
Super
before the end of the
cool
night.
fun trip.
All right.
It comes with some text too, so 1 second. here.
Tixman donated $10.06. I wanted to simp a bit to the pretty lady, but Hands Off My Butt is owned by Nova Raven. She pimps me out a lot, but she still loves me.
Oh, okay. It was
Well,
mostly
thank you.
more simping for the lovely assistant. Thank you. Thank you, text man. Appreciate that.
So
Thank
I'm gonna
you,
have to get my own lovely assistant, I think.
It's helpful. Yeah, I mean, I guess, or too distracting. I don't know, because like I said, no one cared about what we were talking about. They were just talking to her the whole time.
Sorry.
So, anyways, I'm surprised that there wasn't more haters in the chat. But there never are for me. I always talk about controversial things and about people sometimes or whatever, and it never really works out like that. Like other people get these like things that go viral, big fights,
Yeah.
that blow up. Not for me. That's okay. You keep under. That's how I'm still here, because I keep under the radar enough. Like you don't want over a couple hundred people ever watching you at once, because that's when the problems start.
Yeah, that more popular you become.
That's right. But thanks again.
Yeah,
Very
but thanks
much.
for having me. Appreciate it.
And Ocean Cowboy on YouTube and Twitter, or Pandora's Box. There's
Yeah.
two. I forget which is which actually.
Yeah, it's Pandora's Box on YouTube, and Ocean Cowboy connects them all.
Ocean Cowboy's probably better because of Pandora's Box is like a
Yeah.
thing, but Ocean Cowboy, it's like I think it's a little more original.
Yeah,
That much more for the algorithm. For the algorithm.
for the algorithm. Yeah.
I have a friend whose name is Andre Petitpas, and he's a musician, and he called himself their band Andre Petitpas and the Giants. But I thought they always should have called themselves Andre and the Giants. But he explained to me that if he did that, no one would ever find his band.
Fair enough.
Yes,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
yes, it was. So
Yeah, you know what? I think I know them. I've
Well,
heard them. The
they're-
name rings a big time bell.
they should, because they are very popular around here and or in Nova Scotia. I mean, and
Yeah.
that's where you are. So that's good
Yeah,
to hear that you've heard them.
Yes, I have. Yeah, no. As soon as he said 55, I knew. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
no relation to Mr. John Petitpas, who watches our show, and he, anyways, that's a fine gentleman as well. But regardless,
Right.
thanks again, Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Cowboy. I'll put some respect on that name.
All right, you guys have a great night, and thanks for having me.
Anytime, sir. We'll talk soon.
All right, take care.
Dude.
Bye.
Blippity blop. Blippity boop. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, there's so many of us. So many of us. What do you even do? Look at
Whoa!
that. Well, we've done it. We did it. We did almost a full hour with someone who's at the exact opposite spectrum politically as us. Not a argument in sight. Let
You
this
made a
be a
friend.
lesson to all of you, to everybody. Both sides of the aisle. It can be done. It has been done. And this is how it was done. Yep, my plan worked out perfectly. Yep.
Super cool fun trip.
Okay.
Super cool fun trip.
Communications coming in here somehow.
Tixman donated $5.
Is this now?
Puff, puff, prost. Everybody's pretty lady.
Thank you, Texman. She doesn't need to pass.
Thank you,
She
Tex.
can just puff puff and hold on to that joint. She can be greedy. She can bogart.
It's
Bogart all
all
you
mine,
want.
baby.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
I'm claiming victory. I'm claiming victory over the internet, as Lou Fergner just said. IT wins the internet. Hey, look.
You're always making friends.
This went exactly how I hoped. This went exactly how I hoped. I wasn't in it for any weird, kind of like gonna gotcha moment. I just really wanted to prove that it could be done. Well, it's not even a gotcha thing. It's like Karima's some moron.
Well, yeah.
And
Mutual hatred.
I felt exactly the same way as him when I was reading his tweets about her, and so that's the truth.
see.
That's the bottom line. I'm amazed that these guys on the conservative side of guys that when I don't watch them, but I respect them. I see them doing their thing. I have seen them, heard them, and I'm like, yeah, okay, good for you. Do your thing, And then I see her on there with them. I'm like, oh my God, you're getting played. You are getting played. It's not going to end well. She's giving you information that you already knew.
Right.
I mean, not actually knew. She did give them receipts, but only for her own personal vendetta against the organization,
Right.
who are obviously, a hateful organization, ironically, but whatever. That's. Let's see here. Now that my guest has left, now I can pay a little more attention to the chat because I would say that I'm sorry for neglecting you, but
I think it's my chat.
oh yeah, you got that chat now. It's your chat.
I'm just
Okay.
joking. Yeah, you
I did
can-
see a lot of familiar faces here. Appreciate all of that. Okay. So yeah, beautiful. We made it. Look at that. 3 minutes left to the hour. I just like to be punctual. In and out on time. Let's see here. Lou says he hates net fishermen. Well, I don't think... I mean, that guy puts out lobster traps, so he's not a net fisherman. He's a trapper. Yeah. Anyways, lobster fisherman. It's not easy work, I tell you that much. From what... I was offered a spot on a lobster ship once, and I considered it, but turned it down just because of responsibilities, to the lovely assistant and all. But Ruth says we didn't even take a break. No, because when I have someone on, a guest like that, especially someone I don't know, if I had like you guys on for a game show, you guys would understand. Go to a little commercial break, come back, whatever. But with someone like that, he can't hear the commercial. I don't feel like it helps the flow of, of anything. So, and it was going fine, I'm just glad we made it the hour. Because, it helps me because I have stereotypes too. I have, things in my head, biases that I assume that most left-wing people are going to try to squeeze out anything they can of me to try to accuse me of being XYZ, and then try to just say, oh, you're such a bad person for this or that, for saying this or that. So that's my bias. I was expecting that could happen. I said it was like riding a horse possibly for the 8 seconds or whatever. You never know. A bucking bronco, but anyways. But hatred of Karima, bringing people together. Mm-hmm. Ooh, Lou's saying the net fishermen kill a lot of fish they don't keep. I believe it. I don't like net fishermen either. Or tightrope walkers that work with a net. There's no need for nets, really. I'm just anti-net. You tell me where there's, a hockey net maybe, I guess. What other nets do you need? A hair net. Okay, I guess you need some nets.
You haven't seen the episode with Scooby-Doo and Fred. Fred is obsessed with nets.
I do actually recall that Scooby-Doo episode. Do you think that was the episode that lady on the plane was talking about with that Scooby-Doo shit she was talking about the other day? That's some Scooby-Doo shit. That
was
baby,
good.
the baby coming on this plane with that Scooby-Doo shit. That's out of context for you. Oh, the internet. I'm anti all the net. And this one.
Right.
The big worldwide net. We've all been caught in that net, guys. Have we not? Look, one more time. One more time, we'll say goodbye.
Ooh.
But first, we got to figure a song to play on the way out.
Ooh.
Whoops, we don't need that.
Mm.
And it's gonna pop up again anyway. But we're just gonna play some music on the way out. Let's see here. After something like that, what do we want? What are we feeling? Are we feeling funk music?
Sure.
Are we feeling the funk?
Always.
Okay. Let's put on Eric's song. Oh, let's move this out of the way.
Mm.
How embarrassing. There we go. Ah, beautiful. Cool.
The weekend.
Let's say goodnight.
Bye.
Thank you for watching, guys. Thanks for everything. Appreciate y'all. Thanks to Ocean Cowboy for coming on and hanging for the hour.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Ocean
it.
Cowboy.
Just remember, you can do it. You can do it. Night, everyone.